With you see what Eli did the first 2 starts? Control the inside of the turn, right?
And also he got into trouble going into the first turn in race 2 as well, when he was getting leaned on by Marv.
Yep.
And he got hooked up with Brayton.
Yep.
He was lucky to stay up, actually, and he came out in 2nd place behind Tomac. So doesn't want to take that risk, knowing that there's only 1 point in it between those two at the end of today's races.
Absolutely. That's Peyton Stevenson there, his mechanic, his practice bike mechanic in America. So not his race bike mechanic, and it's just they're friends. They have a good tight bond, obviously, but Peyton's spinning the wrenches here this weekend for him.
Tomac's bike obviously flown in from the US for Cardiff, the 1 round that he did of WSX, and it stayed here in France, in Paris.
Yes, I believe
and,
so, yep.
That's obviously the last time he's going to be out riding the 2022 model. He'll go back from here, resume testing on the 23, which is an all-new YZ450F.
Yeah, Blue Crew's done a lot of good jobs for 23. They lightened it, they narrowed it, they made the center of gravity lower, they put a lot of work into it. Not a lot of parts off the 22 that even fit on the 23, so Yamaha's going big for 23. The early reviews from guys that I talked to that know Dylan Ferrandis, and they say he absolutely loves the bike right now.
Yeah. Actually, why no Dylan? Just focusing on getting healthy and just getting his head down.
Or the check wasn't big enough, right? You know how that works. But yeah, absolutely. I think he just, didn't have any interest in coming out, wanted to work on Supercross skills.
And Mookie? Another regular?
Didn't hear anything about Mookie coming here, yes or no. You know, obviously he's done well over here, and the fans love him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Would have been cool to see both the Lawrence boys here, though, in the 250 category. Obviously, pulling out for visa issues was the, I think, the reason given, wasn't it, or something like that?
But those were legit issues.
Yeah.
I did some digging around. There really was a visa issue with COVID.
Oh, no, I wasn't messing. I was just saying, the visa, it was just what we've heard. Yeah, that was the official reason.
You know, I had one of the
laps here for the final race the day before they do it all over again. This time Kenny Roczen in gate number 1 up the inside. Tomac out, and he closes him down immediately. Rocket start from Tomac once again. Webb there in 2nd, and Tomac with the Oxmodo hole shot. Where is Brayton this time around? Well, Roczen is there in 2nd. Muscan is there in 2nd place. Webb in 3rd on the back straight. The orange helmet of Aranda is 4th. Then is that Kenny there?
I think that's Kenny in a 6th, it looks like. And Paul, like I said, it's boom or bust on that inside gate sometimes. That's what happens with these guys, and Kenny busted. Nice strategy, but Tomac outgated him, and that was all it took.
He's definitely got his starts on point as Roczen looks to try and find his way past Aranda out of the finish turn, over the finish line jump, and then running down here into this corner. Can he find a way through, yes or no? Not quite. Number 20 there, Greg Aranda going after Cooper Webb. Oh yeah, Roczen blitzes around the outside of Aranda through the whoops. Absolutely impressive speed from the number 94, who now moves up into 4th place. Aranda in 5th, Brayton in 6th. Not a good start, but better than his race 2 start.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he didn't get to get great.
Gets past Aranda there through the rhythm section as well. Moves up into 5th place.
Yeah, JB's got some work ahead of him for sure. But you know what? He's been better than the KTM boys in the whoops. So that's where his strength's got to lay here. He's got 10 minutes to go to get these guys in the whoops and line them up and try to do the same everywhere else on the track.
Listen to the atmosphere as Marvin Muscan hits the fan zones on 3 sides of the arena here. But Cooper Webb in 3rd, under intense pressure from Roczen. Not seeing too many riders make any passes there in the turn just before the whoops. But again, Roczen blitzes past. This time, Cooper Webb, who then runs him to the outside. Still not done. It is now Roczen up into 2nd place on lap 2.
Roczen into 3rd, right behind Cooper Webb. Marvin's 2nd right now. Eli Tomac looking like, might be a long night for everybody else in this main event. He's looking on point right now. Yeah,
1.8 seconds clear. Eli Tomac from Marvin Muscan. Roczen now 3rd, Webb 4th, Brayton 5th. Brayton has been solid and strong through the whoops all night long. So too is Kenny Roczen, who's now up into 3rd place. He's got about, 1.2 or 3 seconds to make up on Marvin Muscan. His lap time last time around was a 44, almost identical time, both in the 44.5s. Here's Brayton going after Webb in the whoops.
Yeah, unbelievable whoop speed for Brayton and Roczen, as they've done it all night long. I think they're both going to end up going by the KTM teammates at some point in this race, as long as they don't make any other major mistakes. That 3-4 on that side, that's real big, man. Those guys, they're doing it with ease, but trust me, when you look at some of the guys further in the pack, it's not that easy.
Nah. So Tomac leads the way. Wheel tap that time around. Mostly the 450s we mentioned earlier. The 450s able to seat bounce and get over that, but for some reason deciding to wheel tap that time around. 43.8 lap time for Tomac on lap 3. He's on lap 4. He's 2.5 seconds clear of the Martian. Marvin Musquin, his time was a 44.6, a tenth slower than Roczen, so those two pretty much stabilized in that second and third, about 2 seconds, second and a half apart. Right there you see that quad section in the middle and then a double for Roczen.
And Brayton pulls out of that 3-4. He couldn't do it that lap. Webb snuck away a little bit. He cased the 3 in a little bit and backed out of it, and so Webb pulls a little bit of gap on the number 10, Justin Brayton, which again, we think Brayton's a lot better in the whoops. That's where he's going to get him, but he's got to get closer to where he is right now. You know, Brayton told me he was going to wear blue gear all night long.
Yeah.
And he's changed for this third race. I wonder if that bad luck in race 2 affected the gear for this race, because, Paul, as you know, you riders are weirdos. So maybe something happened.
Yeah, when you said he's changed it, and I was thinking, yeah, maybe it's one of those, okay, I'm not wearing blue gear the rest of the weekend.
Right,
now.
yeah,
I won't wear it next year either.
We may never see blue gear on Justin Brayton ever again.
He's closing in on Cooper Webb, though. Yeah, that's a big gap, but with not a lot of room to maneuver on that back straight.
Marvin Musquin said his fastest lap of the race that last time around, a 44.4. Still got some work to do to get to Eli Tomac, but Marv's on the go anyways with his fast lap.
Cooper Webb loses the front end on the exit of the final turn there. That's going to allow Brayton just to close in on him. Talking of which, Roczen is starting to find something here on Musquin. Rapid speed at the end of the whoops, all over the back of the Red Bull KTM rider is the Honda Genuine rider, number 94. Eli Tomac, though, on a different planet, in a different zip code. 4 seconds clear of Musquin after just 5 laps. We're on lap 6.
Boy, if you're Ken Roczen, you got to be frustrated at that start. You did all the right things. You won the race. You could pick the inside gate. You got to be frustrated. You never even saw him.
But then a start like that is probably the reason that he talked himself out of gate 1 in the first race.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we'll probably know tomorrow.
Yeah, here's a replay. Marv getting a little buck wild. We've seen that a few times tonight. And Kenny trying to close in here. He's getting close to Kenny. 6 minutes and 45 seconds to go plus a lap.
Look at the speed difference.
Unbelievable.
Got traffic ahead of him, though. Has to switch his line. Can't set the pass up here. Marvin Musquin on borrowed time here, it would appear. Steve Mathis,
I would think so, right? We're looking at this lap, coming around, get him at the end of the whoops, and try to sneak by him that way. And if you're Marvin Musquin, you know it's coming too.
And Marvin is normally very good on the whoops in Paris.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Marv is no slouch in the whoops. He's maybe not on Roczen level, but the gap in America or here isn't this big, and it is this big right now. Got a rider down in the whoops. Yamaha rider, can't see what number it is.
Oh, rider's gone down as well. Who was it that hit him? Was that Webb? No, but that might have affected Kenny's run right there through the whoops. Might have been Killian Paul, 589 maybe.
Yeah. We're just hoping also that Alex Ray doesn't go down. He's gone down both of the other main events. Paul, I told him, do the laps. Just do the laps, hey, Ray.
Is that what you said?
Yeah. Don't crash.
Oh, Roczen. Almost had a Marvin moment there, coming out of that little scrub hill.
He did have some sparks fly out from his frame again. And yeah, here's the section here. The crowd is imploring Marvin to get going. They got their inflatable drumstick things are going on, and they want Marvin to hold off the German.
He needs these
here.
2 points, because as it stands right now with Eli Tomac's lead, the biggest it's been all night, for almost 4.5 seconds. Marvin couldn't quite get the drive at the end of the whoops there, and Roczen again closes in. There's going to be a setup for a pass here. He goes triple. He's going to have to hit the brakes, cut back. That's exactly what he does.
Oh.
Marvin was caught, couldn't do anything.
Just turns on a dime, sneaks inside of him. Kenny Roczen takes second from Marvin Musquin. Some great riding there. Man, Kenny, he's so smooth, he's so technical, right? I mean, outside of Chase Sexton, does anybody ride a bike better than Ken Roczen?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see a replay of it eventually, maybe at the end of the race, but there was nothing else that Marvin could do. He was down on the inside. If you turn tight, you lose the drive. If you go wide because you need the drive down the next straight, Kenny was in the perfect position to attack, set it up perfectly out of the previous turn, and he made it paid off. He's now in second position, a 44.7 compared to a 46.2. That time of your race leader, Eli Tomac. The gap now 3.8, and we're still 4:20 on the clock, plus a lap. Are we going to see Eli Tomac respond here to the threat of Kenny Roczen? Or is he now in that zone, Ken Roczen, where he can just say, you know what, this one is still up for the taking?
We didn't see it on the TV screen, but Webb dropped back 2 spots behind Brayton and Cedric Supercross. Super Webb's 6th right now. Not sure if he made a mistake or if Supercross and Brayton just straight out passed him. Not exactly sure, but 6th place for Cooper Webb. Can't make him too happy right now.
Here's Brayton in 4th position. Go back to the blue. JB.
Yeah, I think so, right? I mean, the first main event was absolutely an amazing race. Getting 2nd, and you can see, so we got 3 minutes to go. We've been out there for 8.5 minutes, and a little tiring, right? Now you're starting to feel that burn a little bit. Strength is trying to go away a little bit, so we're seeing some guys maybe a little less on the aggressive meter.
Here's Soup. So Cedric Supercross, he's in 5th position at the moment. The rider that went a little bit skew-whiff in the whoops a moment ago was Kevin Morantz. There, number 80, just being lapped by Supercross.
Kevin Morantz, privateer from America, really a self-made privateer. He's real crowd-funded and does a lot of neat promotions for his sponsors, and he's got a little bit of a fan base going. It's kind of neat what social media can do for riders like that nowadays.
So Tomac, the gap is coming down. It was a half a second a lap ago. It's now coming down again. It's now 2.7 the gap with 3 minutes plus a lap to go.
Do we have a race here, Paul? Do we have a race?
Possibly. Is it squeaky bump time for your race leader? Because Roczen will believe that he will have the measure. He will see that gap coming down.
Yeah.
Is it going to be something?
This is close.
You don't think it, but is it something as simple as arm pump for your race leader? You wouldn't have thought so. A man of that experience.
1.8 second lead only. Kenny has chopped this lead down on Eli Tomac. Either lappers or arm pump or something. Absolutely. Roczen smells blood now. He sees that number 3 there, and I do wonder what's going on a little bit. Did Eli just look down? I don't know if he just looked down on his bike or not. It looked like he may have.
But also, shop window, 2 words spring to mind. Kenny putting himself well and truly in the shop window for 2023 for someone, somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. This is a great ride by Kenny. Real nice comeback. And minute 53 to go, plus a lap. And Kenny can see it, man. This thing's going to get good.
He can taste it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out of the final turn, we've still got plenty of time left. 1:43 on the clock as Roczen goes through the gap now, 1.4. The last 4 laps have been kind to Roczen.
They have. I noticed Roczen staying really low in the turns, right? He's trying to stay out of that rut. He's trying to shorten the track up a little bit, stay low in the turns. I think it's working. It looks like Tomac's keeping his kind of old lines. Here we go 3, 4 into the turn before the rhythm. Yeah. Go another 3 and then 4 over the table.
Chopping the lead down even more. Backside, same line through there. 45.3, 44.9. About 3.5, 4 tenths in it last time around. Tête de course, the head of the course, the head of the field.
3 laps to go. 3 laps to go this time around. So Kenny hold on. A couple lappers coming up.
1.4 stabilizes ever so slightly. Tomac only loses a tenth that time around.
Looks like Eli went a little bit with Kenny's line there. At the
His
end of
speed through the whoops in this late stage of the race. Kenny, that's where he is doing the damage and pulling down the gap. Like I say, Tomac, was he looking down at the bike? Was it something as simple where he maybe dragged the foot peg and couldn't, kick it back down?
Yeah.
And that just rattled him ever so slightly? Or is it that Kenny is just quicker?
Yeah. Well, we got lappers now, and they're in their own battle. It's Aranda and Desprez, I believe, and they are going at it for a position. So they're not going to want to exactly move over for Eli Tomac here.
Yeah, they're 7th and 8th.
Aranda looks back. Aranda gives him a little nod, very classy of the number 20 to do that. So Aranda makes it easy, and Desprez makes it easy as well.
Yeah, 7th and 8th, those 2 battling for, and they know the leaders are coming through. So look at the difference in whip speed there.
It's like you in '94 versus me.
That was me in no year.
That was me never. Yeah. Here we go. So yeah, we're coming up to the white flag, and so Kenny's got to make something happen.
Yeah, 1.3 heading into the penultimate lap.
Listen, you're a racer though. Even if it ends up 1 and 2 just like this, if you're Ken Roczen, you're going to bed tonight, knowing what you did, knowing that start, and knowing you caught Eli Tomac. Like this thing is far from over.
Oh, absolutely. Put it this way, you won't need a blue diamond tonight.
Oh boy. Last lap, folks, to go here. Last lap in Paris for the night 1. Seen some great action. Oh boy.
Oh, Tomac bobbles on the whoops.
boy.
Roczen alongside it. Can he do to Tomac what he did to Musquin? Cut to the inside at the end of the straight. Tomac clearly knows there is a threat from behind now. We are half a lap to go. All of a sudden, Roczen all over the back. It was 8 tenths as they hit the line. 2 corners to go. Tomac has sustained the pressure from behind. Roczen just losing out in that final rhythm section, but it's going to be Tomac who secures the win. What a race that was. Steve Mathis, Kenny Roczen lighting the fuse in the second half of that final race here, the main event. Tomac crossed the line, 8 tenths clear of Roczen, but what a fantastic race. And the fans were on their feet, whether, you know, they didn't mind whether Musquin was winning or not. We had a fantastic show between Eli Tomac and Ken Roczen.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Pictures on Tomac here. I wonder if he's going to say anything or mention anything about the bike or issues that were going on, but it doesn't look like it. Looks like Jelly, his mechanic, and him are just going straight to the podium. Nice comeback by Tomac. Screws up in the whoops a little bit, a little slower than he wanted. Roczen closed right up, and then now if you're Eli Tomac, you're like, I got to be perfect, and he was. 500
euros. Shoe money for the wife when he gets back home. That's for the Ox Moto. I think he's took all 3, hasn't he? Taken all 3
I think so,
Ox Moto hole shots this evening. And he has a 2-point lead heading in tomorrow's program. Puts him on 4 points. There is Eli Tomac taking the Ox Moto hole shot. Kenny Roczen 3-1-2, leaving him on 6 points. Justin Brayton back onto the podium at the moment. He's on 13, tied with Cooper Webb with his 2.74, and Webb going 5-5. Confirmation of the final race then. Eli Tomac wins it from Kenny Roczen, Marvin Musquin, Justin Brayton, and Cooper Webb, with Cedric Subaras, Maxime Dupre, Greg Aranda, Julian Rosali, and Anthony Bourdon, with Kevin Morant, Joanne Cross, Alex Ray, Hugo Bazala, Killian Pohl, and Thomas Ramet.
Good job, A-Ray. You did all the laps. You didn't fall.
And there is your nations table. So USA leading the way with a 1-2 from race 1, a 2-3, and a 1-4, giving them 13 points. They're 15 points clear of France, who have had a 4-6, a 4-5, and a 3-6, and rest of the world who are on the 45.
Thanks to Ken Roczen for that 45, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, he went 3-1-2.
3-1-2 in there, yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to hear whether how honest Tomac is about the race, whether it was, you know, I can't imagine it was a physical issue. So, you know, maybe it was just track conditions suited Kenny. Simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely right. I just think as the race got on, you know, it's hard for racers to pick up a pace late in the race. You're tired, you're breathing hard, your heart rate's at 190, and maybe it's just one of those where Tomac's like, I got this, like I'm clear.
Watch Kenny here on Aranda.
Yeah. Imagine pulling out in the whoop section, Paul, making the pass and pulling back in like you're on a freeway.
Yeah, like a road race line, going out to the outside, you know, and then
but these
the
are
apex.
whoops.
Yeah. And again on Webb. Webb, though, responded. Still had some work to do, and he made it pay off, and I think he was up to 3rd at that point. Musquin was just ahead of him. And then Musquin bobbled in the whoops. Kenny went outside, cut back to the left, and then fenced him in the next turn. Just, well, he didn't fence him, did he? He just cut back.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at that. That's impressive by Ken Roczen for sure. I think right now Marvin Musquin and Cooper Webb lead the world in frustration this weekend so far.
Yeah, and the gap at that point was about 4 seconds, 4 point something. But Kenny went to work and he dug in, closed down Tomac, and gave us an absolute barnstormer of a second half of the race. This was what, last lap?
Yep. Very impressive job by Kenny, and impressive for Tomac to hold off Kenny as well, because he had to be perfect. He knew that Kenny was on him now at this point, and if you're rattled a little bit from the whoops and your heart rate's high, you've got to withstand it. Good job for Eli Tomac.
Of course, the big screen up here, 2,600 meters squared of screen, the biggest indoor screen in any indoor venue, I'm told. The riders, as they get ready for the podium, will probably be watching those highlights as well.
Yeah,
but ET3 strikes again.
Ken Roczen took a second, but he's got to be excited. I think he's still got to be happy with what happened. Great race for Ken Roczen, and passing Eli Tomac in race 2 was impressive.
2 Honda Genuine riders on the podium then. 3rd overall for Justin Brayton. 2nd overall, Ken Roczen, who came so close to winning the main event, but Eli Tomac, 1-2-1, finishes the night on 4 points. And on the top step of the podium, work not done yet though. He's no King of Paris yet. We've got 4 more races to come tomorrow. A couple of sprints and a couple of mains. So Erwan Nijon, champion du monde endurance moto. So world endurance champion.
And you know, if you're Justin Brayton, you got 3rd overall in the night with you know a 7th place. I think you take that as well.
2, 7, and 4. Ends tonight on 13th. Ken Roczen, 3-1-2, ends tonight on 6. 2 behind Eli Tomac. It's definitely game on as we head into day 2 here at Paris-La Défense. Sébastien Poirier, the president of the FFM, the French Federation. Your winners though, Eli Tomac on the top step. Kenny Roczen 2nd, Justin Brayton 3rd.
Setting up for a great Sunday here in Paris with this race.
We will be live 3 o'clock Central European time on MXGP TV with me, Paul Malin, and guests. One of them quite possibly could be Steve Mathis and other riders as well during the course of the day.
Saturday,
Listen to Eli's interview here.
The main event, no?
Oh yeah, and Kenny was coming really fast, so I had all my work cut out for me. The track was very technical, that 3rd one. The dirt was pulling you every which way, so lots of fun racing tonight though with those 3 motos, and it's going to be another battle tomorrow night.
Voilà, évidemment, je suis satisfait, mais comme vous l'avez compris, il y avait Ken qui revenait très fort, la piste devenait délicate.
Yeah, so basically, Kenny probably just that little bit quicker than Eli, not anything other than that, really.
Yes,
just dealt with the conditions better.
Une bonne forme demain, on va retrouver Jean-Christophe.
Let's listen to what Ken Roczen has to say. 2nd overall.
Donc Ken, 2nd place tonight. Very good show from you. The last final was super intense with Eli. What is the feeling for you tonight?
This was some good racing. I'm really happy with the steps that I've made forward in these last few weeks. And we still got a little while to go until the American Supercross starts, so I'm very happy where I'm at right now. I don't know what I'm doing on the starts. I really struggle. I was back in the pack quite good and definitely had to make some passes, and that allowed Eli just to have that gap, you know. So I tried to reel him in, and it got really close towards the end, but he took this turn really tight after the whoops, and I kind of was setting up to cut inside, but I was kind of next to him, you know, and couldn't make it happen, but the racing was awesome.
Alors il nous a expliqué qu'il est en train vraiment
So Kenny
de
Roczen
retrouver
then
son meilleur niveau, qu'il n'est pas très bien parti dans
give
cette
him
finale,
a whole shot
qu'il est
tomorrow.
revenu
Could
sur
be a
la
slightly
tension,
different
sur la
story.
qu'il y a eu des opportunités,
Other than
qu'il lui
gearing,
a pas
what
manqué
else can they
grand-chose,
work on
mais en tous
in
les
that
cas,
respect?
lui aussi trouvé le
Yeah,
circuit
absolutely. The
super
track will be
technique,
drier.
et
It'll be a
surtout
little
le public
slicker,
de
right? So
Paris,
yeah,
assez
you might want to work on
incroyable,
some
s'il vous
gearing,
plaît.
but
Vous
really.
Does the
applaudissez
mesh have anything to do with it?
pour l'immense
With his
champion
setup,
Ken, Monsieur Ken
the start
Roczen.
gate?
Oh, no, I don't
Too
think
much
so.
traction, no?
Yeah, I don't think so. KTM riders got to find some.
Steve Mathis with a 7th in that second race, having fallen from turn 1. Let's see what he has to say.
It's very important to catch a lot of points
Blue
in
gear.
every moto.
Yeah, that second one was tough. My bike was all beat up, and I couldn't reach my clutch lever, so it was nice to salvage a little bit of something, but it's so fun. I love coming here. Obviously, racing with these 2 guys, they're arguably the best in the world right now, so it's fun to come here and race with them even at my age, and we're still having fun, so excited for tomorrow night, and yeah, some more good racing.
Oui, je suis toujours évidemment content de venir là. C'est vrai que j'ai connu un problème avec mon embrayage dans la seconde manche et il fallait rester et s'accrocher du début jusqu'à la fin. Et vous l'avez compris, un peu déçu bien sûr, mais nous donnons rendez-vous demain. Mesdames et messieurs, c'était la première soirée.
So Justin Brayton then 3rd overall for Honda Genuine. He'll go back to the drawing board overnight and think, you know what, if I get 3 solid rides tomorrow, stay out of trouble, he could be challenging for a win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Possibly, because he's quick on the whoops.
Yep.
But he has to be with them right from the very first lap. And them, I mean Eli and Ken.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. He's not going to catch those guys in raw speed, right? But he can certainly do the laps at the we could be in for a hell of a race tomorrow night between those two guys. And if Brayton gets in there, like you said, he gets a little better start, he can be in the mix too. So it should be an exciting night.
And also the track conditions could be slightly different tomorrow, day 2. We already spoke about that earlier. Riders maybe find it a little bit harder, a little bit
Time zones are probably catching up to him. Sleep's catching up to him.